It's hard to believe, but this piece of bread in a jar right here can sit in a cupboard for 365 days. No freezer, no fridge, and not a single drop of chemical preservatives. Even a year later, it looks exactly the same, with a dense crust and a soft, moist crumb. When I first saw it, I couldn't believe my own eyes. Today I'm going to try to recreate this eternal bread recipe at home, which I found in the diary of my Amish great-grandfather, Silas Yoder. I hope it works out, because I'm going to follow his instructions exactly as he wrote them. A lot of you have asked if it's really true that the Amish could store baked goods for months or even years. It is true, but it wasn't magic. It was about knowledge, discipline, and a deep respect for nature. I often think about how much our lives have changed. Store-bought bread today turns into a rock in 3 days, and in a week it's covered in green mold. We're used to food being temporary. You push a button and a delivery arrives. But my great-grandfather used to say, "Convenience makes a man soft, and the cold does not forgive softness." When I found his diary, I realized the Amish philosophy was completely different. They didn't rely on grocery stores or logistics or electricity. They relied on their hands, the land, and the order provided by their community. This bread was part of that wisdom, something they respected and carefully preserved for years. I found a date in the diary, January 1934. Silas was 46 back then. He was responsible for a large family, the children, the house, and everyone sitting at their long wooden table. That year was brutal because the Great Depression had crushed the country. In the cities there were soup lines, banks were closing, and thousands of people were losing everything. But in the Yoder community, life went on almost exactly as it had before the crisis. They didn't depend on electricity because they didn't have it. They didn't depend on the economy because their wealth was in the soil. And under every Amish home was a root cellar, a room dug below the frost line where the temperature stayed at a stable 40 degrees year-round. No Freon, no motors, no meters. That's where they kept apples, potatoes, jars of stew, and this very bread. My great-grandfather wrote, "When the blizzard piles snow up to the windows, bake this bread. Put it in a glass jar. It will last a year. It might even last 2. And it will save you when hope wears thin." I read those words over and over again, and I decided to test the recipe myself. I went to the store and bought everything I needed: whole grain flour, yeast, oil, nuts, pumpkin seeds, and oats. And you know what the total was? 1 jar of bread, weighing about half a kilo, cost me $3. $3 for a product that can last for years. For comparison, modern tactical rations cost 5 to 10 times more, and they smell like cardboard. But this is real food, complete and filling, created to warm you up and keep your strength up. My great-grandfather despised white flour. He called it dead dust because there is no life in it, no energy. Amish men worked 10 to 12 hours in the fields, so they needed nutrition that would keep a man on his feet. That is why the base of this recipe is coarse whole grain flour. But the main secret lies in the nuts and pumpkin seeds because they provide the energy and power. Silas wrote, "This bread is not about taste. It is about endurance. It replaces sugar, which only steals your energy. I pour 300 milliliters of warm water into a bowl. The temperature here is a matter of life and death. The water must be warm, like fresh milk, about 38 degrees Celsius. If you pour in boiling water, you will cook the yeast alive, and the bread will remain a dead brick. Into this water, I add 1 teaspoon of dry yeast and stir. The water gets cloudy, and the smell of fermentation appears. We have woken up the fungus. Give it a couple of minutes to take its first breath. Now I pour in our fuel, the seeds. Oats, pumpkin, nuts, 50 grams of each kind. Next comes 230 grams of whole grain flour and a teaspoon of salt. And the work begins. I mix the water, seeds, and flour. When you start mixing the dough, you realize this isn't modern bread. It is heavy, sticky, and dense. There is no place for a mixer here. The Amish did everything by hand, and I do the same. I knead it, feeling the warmth under my palms that the dough gradually gives back. It's like a small meditation. You calm down, breathe, and at some point, you realize right now you are making something real. We grease the jar with oil liberally from the bottom to the top rim. This is important so the bread slides out easily later, and the place where many beginners make mistakes. Great-grandpa drew 3 exclamation marks in his diary and wrote the word greed. Do not try to fill the jar completely. We fill it exactly halfway. The dough will rise significantly. If you put in more, it will overflow in the oven. It might blow the lid off or even shatter the glass. Then we put them in the oven without lids. Baking happens at 200 degrees. This isn't just cooking. It is sterilization. The heat kills everything alive inside the jar, creating the perfect conditions for long-term storage. After 40 to 45 minutes, the bread rises with a beautiful brown cap, and the kitchen fills with the smell of fields, nuts, and straw. The real smell of home. And now, the most crucial moment. Great-grandpa called this the dance with fire. We take out the scorching hot jar and immediately cover it with a sterile lid. We screw it on fast, tight all the way. Inside is hot air. We are sealing it hermetically. As the jar starts to cool, the air compresses, the pressure drops, and the lid gets pulled inward. I miscalculated a bit here, and this jar only ended up half full. But that's okay. It's still food. I'm going to close it up and keep it on the shelf. I'll film a video in 6 months to show you what happened to it and how it tastes. It's going to be interesting, so subscribe so you don't miss the video with this bread in 6 months. Let me open one jar and taste this bread. Just look at how beautiful it turned out. Look at that texture. It's a thing of beauty. The bread slides out easily, which is already a good sign. It didn't stick. Take a closer look. It is soft, yet crusty. It is simply incredible that this bread can be stored for years. When I slice it, it's soft, moist, and dense. Not a crouton, not a brick, just excellent bread. Mine turned out a bit small, but that's enough for me, since I live alone. This piece will last me for 4 days. I'm going to taste it now. This is amazing. I feel like I'm tasting a piece of the past. My great-grandfather definitely knew his bread. If you are watching this video, please leave a like for my effort and a like for my great-grandpa's recipe, which might just save you in a tough moment. In the diary, there is an entry about how great-grandpa gave bread like this to his neighbor, Thomas. In 1934, Thomas's barn burned down. The fire took everything, grain, tools, food. Thomas was in despair. But in the Amish tradition, survival isn't about being alone. It is about community. We survive together, Grandpa used to say. When Silas brought him a jar of bread, Thomas wept. He couldn't believe that after long months of cold, you could open a jar and pull out soft, living bread. To receive a piece of summer in the middle of an icy winter. That really is a miracle. I made 10 jars. They are sitting on the back shelf of my cupboard. Maybe I'll open one in a month when I'm too lazy to go to the store. Or maybe in 2 years. I don't know. But I know something else. When you have a supply like this, you sleep a little more soundly. The Amish always said, "Bread is not food, it is confidence. Make this recipe. It's simple, it's cheap, and it is incredibly delicious. Let a small supply of wisdom from past generations appear on your shelf too, and may your home be full of warmth, bread, and peace."